tallying any votes. Welcome everybody to another meeting of the United States Pirate Party. I am Drew Bingaman. I am the vice captain, vice chair, however you say it, or when to say it. And I am also the captain of the Pennsylvania Pirates. I'm going to ask that my cats not be jerks during this meeting. And V, you're next on the list here. I'm going to kick it over to you.
Hey, yes, so I'm V, Saray Oviedo, Swarm Care Manager, as well as an observer for Texas.
Johnny.
Hi, John Robinson. I am the Secretary and Representative for Pennsylvania.
Eric, you're next.
Hey, I am Eric. I am the auditor, and I'm representing Indiana tonight.
Yari, you are next in my visual cue.
Hi there. I am Yari Rose Klein. I am the representative for California.
Now, how do you say that right? Is it? I don't know how you say that. Virginia.
Yeah. So I'm Dustin. I'm from Virginia.
Thank you, Dustin. Michael, you're next.
Hello. My name is Michael Cadwallader. I am the secretary/scribe, however you want to call me, of the PNC, and I hope to soon be part of a New Jersey Pirate Party that I hope to get together once my life starts getting back on track. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Ty?
Hello, thank you for having me. Ty Clifford here of West Virginia, de facto captain. Not yet a member, but definitely participating when I can.
Thank you, Ty. Joe?
Ahoy, I've missed you all. I am Joe of Massachusetts, the current treasurer and interim representative of Massachusetts. We elected somebody else, but I guess I'm still here.
So we take the votes from the people who are here.
Ahoy.
All right. Sounds like somebody's getting murdered in the background there, Joe. That's awesome. You know, hopefully it's for a good reason. I am going to then be open to a motion for the agenda.
Yes. Per our discussion earlier, move that we skip past reports and start off with the election and nominations for the position of chair.
Okay. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Okay. Is there anybody? Do we need to discuss this at all, or are we all on board? Looks like we're good. I'm not hearing any objections. So, all right. Well, let's move into nominations. All right. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Nominations are open for the position of chair/captain.
Yes. As part of the election committee, Drew Bingaman, you were nominated, and is correct that you're still accepting the...
I am still accepting that nomination.
Great. Let me see. I also nominated Liz, and she declined. Also nominated Brad, and he declined. Mitch was nominated. He declined. Yari, you were nominated, but was that...
That's going to be a decline.
It's also a decline? Everybody's tallying these declines. Mitch was nominated, also a decline.
Do we have any other nominations? Wait, who we got? Who's here? Who just popped in? Or did we just gain somebody back? Oh, Mitch. There's Mitch.
Oh,
Mitch is here. Mitch, can you ID, please?
Mitch DeVillo of the Illinois, the Chicagoland Pirate Party.
All right, but you're repping Illinois tonight because we don't have any other reps for Illinois.
Yes, Chicago's not a voting member, so Illinois tonight.
Not yet.
Thank you.
Not yet.
Thank you. Do you have any? We have one accepted nomination right now, Mitch, and that's me. V was going through a list of other people that they nominated, and do you have any other nominations? I know you were in on this discussion.
No, you would have been my only nominee. So if
Okay.
you were already nominated and accepted, then I'm good.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any nominations? Or V, do you have any more nominations?
I just want to say to the public, if we want to spend 5 more minutes, last minute nominations, please. Or if anybody wants to nominate yourself, that you're here.
Do we want to, in the meantime, do we want to wait for any of that? I'm looking for a consensus on that. Do we want to see if we get any other nominations, or do we want to just move forward and go back to? Well, the question would be, are we waiting or are we going to move on? But because
I think anyone on the call would have said something by now, so I suggest we move on.
All right.
I, as much as I am inclined to allow the people time to submit other nominations, I cannot truthfully think of anyone else in the organization that others could have nominated. Like, I have racked my brain about this, and the only other people that could be nominated to the position have already been nominated. So I think the only to my mind, the only reason that there would be to wait would be to see if someone comes forward to introduce an element of interesting discussion. But in that sense, you are the person who, it seems, Drew, who is willing to do the job and who is best positioned for it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna argue with any of that. But I don't really want to be the one saying it. If that makes
now,
any
if we
sense.
could just get you to go outside for drinks, we could all nominate you while you're away, as is tradition in these sorts of things.
Yeah, that's true. That has happened to me a couple times. I mean, I guess we just move to voting, I suppose. I mean, I would assume that none of the above is on the table, or do we have an equivalent of none of the above?
It would probably be good to still have conversation on the topic, about what you would do as chair, right? I would assume.
I'm here to be mostly a facilitator, to be honest. I mean, that's why I was here, as vice chair. So I'm here to help run the meetings, try to help give us a little direction. I mean, but not force anything. I'm here to maybe some nudges here and there. But this is Pirates. Pirates aren't led by a captain. The captain is there to do a job, and that's you all are the ones that are in charge of this. So don't feel like if I say something or anything that it there be no authoritarian here, and I actually hate anytime I have to be any bit of that. So. Anyways, Joe, you would like to speak. Wait, sorry. Did Michael, then Joe? Hang on. Joe, go first. Okay, Joe. Joe, then Michael. Let me get my list back here.
I would just have to say that you've already been running the meetings, Drew. There is no argument. So just humbly accept responsibility for our sortie and let us move on.
I'm fine. I'm fine with that. I mean, but we do have a speaker list. Michael?
Yeah, if we do things by the books, and we do some sort of like none of the above option, if Noda wins over Drew, what happens?
That's probably
We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Cross that bridge when we get there.
That's probably a bad thing, but because we'd be more or less in the same place that we are right now.
Yeah.
But
new person has entered the meeting.
Finn, can you ID, please? Just give us your name and your state. In the chat, Finn, Indiana. All right, cool. Mitch, you are on the next for the speaker list.
I just wanted to say, if Noda wins, I will personally eject you from this party. Please, please, let's just get this over with.
Listen, I'm fine with that, but somebody needs to make the motion, I guess.
Is it
what
calling
motion?
the votes?
Well, we're in
move to vote.
We're in discussion, I assume.
Move to vote.
Motion to vote. That's
vote.
Joe. Joe, it looks like there it is. Is that a motion and a second?
Second.
From Joe and Yari?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I am fine with that.
Are we doing it everyone whispers their vote to me, or whatever the function is on this thing?
That seems
I don't know what the
reasonable.
word is on Jitsi, but
yeah,
I know there's a
private message to
private,
Michael.
thank you.
Private message. Yeah, okay.
So the candidates are Drew Bingaman and none of the above, is my understanding.
Yeah.
We could have a write-in option.
True. If anyone wants to write anyone in last minute.
I think we already kind of got that though.
How many
I have
voting members are
I
there?
have Johnny from Pennsylvania, Mitch from Illinois, Yari, you're in California. I have Eric for Indiana and Joe for Massachusetts. I don't think there's any
5.
other. Yeah, 5.
Those are our votes.
Those are the votes.
Alrighty.
Okay. And just in case anyone needs a reminder, the way you send a private message on Jitsi is you click on the 3 dots next to above Michael's picture, and then you click send private message.
Technology, I know it's complicated.
Send private message. There it is. Send private message. Oh, how fancy that is. We have the technology.
And who are we messaging with these votes? Michael?
Michael.
All right.
Wait, are there 5 or 6?
5.
Okay. Okay, I have 5 votes here. Wait, so
I have.
Okay, Finn is not. Okay, I was assuming Finn was voting. Okay, cool. I have 5 votes here then.
Okay.
And
you need time to tally them up?
yeah, let me just I mean, I've been tallying on the side, but I'm gonna
Gotta do it. You gotta do some math.
No, yeah, I'm trying to find the virtual backgrounds. I'm gonna unblur myself for a second. I'm gonna
look,
hold
you're
up
in
to
a
the
room.
camera the official post-it note that has a cockatiel in front of a cage, because my girlfriend has a cockatiel and he's the best board on the planet. But
oh, look at that.
Drew, congratulations.
I'm shocked and stunned. What can I say? Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate it.
I don't know where to put this number.
So that
Do you
being
want me to like
said,
mail this to you so like you can like frame this on the wall?
if just hang on to it, because we might, if we do an in-person meeting next year, I'll get it from you.
Yeah. All right. Sure.
So I would say that our next item on the agenda would be to deal with the vacancy at vice chair. If everyone is also in agreement on that.
Yeah. I mean, I can't officially say, but yeah.
Dustin, go ahead.
Hey, so there was also going, I believe, to be discussion on, or at least from one of the committees, discussion on like working with every library organization and topics around that. So I don't know what order we'd want to do that in, or.
So we usually do something like that with when we do committee reports, and we decided to skip the committee reports. We can go back to that if everybody wants to do that. If that's what we want to do, I think that's what we want to do. Are there objections to going back to committee reports?
Well, how long do we think doing a vice captain is going to take? Because it sounds like a rather important thing to have happen.
I would heartily object to doing vice captain election today.
Okay.
I would say that vice captain election should take place after there has been similarly time for the members of the party to understand that there is an election happening and to submit nominations.
Okay.
So do we? So I guess my question would be: is do we want to quickly set a date for the vice captain election?
Motion to hold the vice chair election in 2 weeks.
Okay. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. Is there any objection to that? I'm not seeing or hearing any objections. Mitch, sorry to see you go, but Joe is objecting. Joe, do you want to say what you got?
Joe, to be clear, the reason I suggested 2 weeks is so that it takes place on Jitsi instead of IRC. Yeah, I think we could do it next week. There's a I think we could do it next week. I think we could get it done next week.
Would you are you wanting to
yeah, understood.
Restate that and do it next week?
Is there a compelling? I mean, I think now that I'm thinking of it, the compelling reason to do it next week is so that we have the position filled and so that people can do it. Yeah, if people don't feel particularly strongly about doing it on Jitsi, I'm okay with having it next week. I don't know what other people's thoughts are on that. I'm fine with
personally. It'd be easier for me to do it next week than 2 weeks from now.
Okay, then that's two.
I will not be here next week. I have a concert that I will be going to.
Okay.
I don't know if that would mess up anything, or Gary, if you're willing to step in next week.
We should be.
Well, the good thing about an IRC meeting for you, Michael, is that it's all recorded. It's all in text for you already. So, I mean, even these meetings.
I mean, I don't know if I'd be willing to. I mean, I should be sitting for this, so like I could just whip out my phone at like 9 o'clock, hop on Jitsi.
Michael, don't
do that. Don't do that.
No. I will give you so much side eye. Don't do that. Yeah, okay. I'm officially adjusting my
No.
motion so that we do it next week. I think we'll be fine with recording. Thank you for showing us the cat, Drew.
She's very happy right now.
Yeah.
I'm enlarging your screen so I can see the cat in full screen good glory.
She's very happy. Okay, so we have are we still kicking around the date? Or are we looking at next week on IRC?
Actually, okay, no, actually, sorry. Reason to not do it next week.
Okay.
We'll be in the middle of the security camera walk stuff.
Yeah, good point.
Okay. 2 weeks is fine for me then. That's no problem.
It's like SmackDown.
You're supposed to put up a fight.
We're not.
It's not
we're
exciting.
Not the kind of party, Michael. We're not the
Clearly,
That's going to be the pirate Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Talk Like a Pirate Day is the 19th.
That is leading out. Although I feel like
the
Talk Like a
17th.
Pirate.
Maybe that does mean it should get done next week. Shit, I don't know.
Although
no date is good.
In fairness, I feel like maybe leading up to Talk Like a Pirate Day, like having a new vice chair, that could be like a nice little like thing to kind of ease into it, I guess. And like we could start those few days with like, hey, vice chair. Hey, we got a vice chair. This vice chair can talk like a pirate. I don't know.
No, I think that's fair. I think that's a good point. Like
just a point.
Joe, stop.
I mean, for what it's worth, I have a nomination. So
want the position too.
But okay, so back to, I mean, this is why I wanted to have the discussion, not necessarily to do the election, but that we needed to nail down some stuff.
So, shall there be an election committee for vice chair election? Shall that be? I mean, I can't officially make motions or anything, but I'm assuming someone would be able to make a motion for that to be created. So,
yes, that's. I will wrap that into. Thank you for the friendly amendment. Whoa! Part of the motion.
Thank you.
Part of the motion. All right. So are we looking at what are we looking at date wise? I guess that's the question, not whether there's going to be a committee.
That's the question.
I mean, theoretically, it could be in 3 weeks, but I mean, I feel like it'd be better to have it done sooner rather than later. So
I think it should be either next week or the 17th.
I feel like
do we want to should we just vote on which date?
I feel like points for next week is soonness, 17th for in face to screenness, and doesn't interfere with the security camera walk.
I think you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm kind of thinking maybe the interference with the security camera walk won't be that much.
Yeah, no, that's a good point though. But
because people are already scheduling stuff mostly around that anyway.
Yeah.
Around the meeting.
Yeah.
Just trying to remember the schedule. Look at it.
Do we want to do? Okay, this might be really crazy. Do we want to do a security camera and vice chair kind of jitsi meeting next week?
Oh.
Like so the only bit of business that we're actually going to do would be to elect a vice chair, and then we roll into our security camera intro / whatever we're gonna do.
So that would be fine. Of note, I was originally going to propose an amendment to the bylaws that day, but that's okay. It can be delayed.
Is that? I guess is that
Why
is
would
that where
that
we're
have to
at?
be delayed?
Well,
Well,
if we decide that that's the only business we're going to do is the election, then it would have to be delayed at least another week
Okay.
for other business.
Who says we can't do both business? I mean, depending on how long it takes, of course, but
I mean, for what it's worth, it's 9:45 now. Although we didn't start until 20 after. So
And the actual
even then,
presidential
that would have
election did
been-
not take long.
that's true.
Okay, I'm just going to suggest that we just do the election next week. I think we can stick with an IRC meeting. I
Okay.
think we can stick with the election as happening next week. I don't think that's going to interrupt much in the way of things. I think if we want to host security camera walk Jitsi stuff, that can happen independently of the meeting.
Okay.
That's my proposal. That's my thought.
Okay.
Open to modifications.
Joe says he concurs.
I will say I don't know like how many nominees there are going to be that'll accept the nominee for vice chair, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's doable on IRC, but I'm thinking it might be a better thing if there's more than one candidate. It might be easier to like kind of go back and forth, like ask questions and butt heads over Jitsi.
If we're doing any sort of debate, I agree. I think that just ends up meaning probably that we keep debate to a minimum.
Yeah. Or how? I mean, depending on how soon we can get nominees, perhaps we can have an earlier deadline for nominees to be placed, and maybe they can do like a debate the day before or something like that. Kind of like a one-off thing, something like that, or just post, hey, here's why I don't know. Just a thought.
I like that we can do something like that just so we can have people approve those nominations so that we don't have somebody running unopposed again. Just so we can be sure we have at least two candidates going into the meeting.
Are there any objections? Can we vote on just get that solidified?
Go ahead, Joe. What's your question? I hope you're typing it, because if not, you're still muted. Yeah.
My understanding of that is absolutely yes, Joe.
Are there any? Or is that where we're at? Is it? Okay, so we're looking at next week on IRC.
Yep.
Okay. And there will be a committee created.
Yes.
For this election.
Are there any volunteers for the committee?
Would the committee need to be present at the meeting?
Not necessarily.
So
Just needs to meet in between now and then.
The volunteers.
If nobody else
Joe says he
volunteers, I could volunteer.
Dustin? Go ahead.
No, I was just basically indicating that I was volunteering.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Now it can't go down now.
Oh, you're good. You're fine. Okay. Don't just. I think I can. Can I do that? No, I can't do that. Okay, never mind. Because I'm not. Yeah.
Oh,
well.
It's gone now.
All right. So, now that we've hashed that all out, is there any objection? Are there objections to that? Otherwise, we don't really need to vote. If there's not any objections, we're good. Joe, are we good now? Do we have it hashed out next week on IRC? No objections. All right. I'm not hearing any other objections. That's what we'll do. Okay. Next week
Should
on
we
IRC.
should we have any
Requesting move to report.
discussion? Real quick, if I may interject. Should we have any discussion or motions for doing anything like Jitsi the day before, or something like that?
I would leave that up. I would leave that up. I would leave that up for the election committee mostly to handle that. That's kind of one of the things that the
Election committee, what say you?
You guys should meet.
Yeah, the election committee. I'll send a DM.
Yeah.
You guys should meet not here.
So
Figure that out.
awesome.
But I would like to nominate V if they would be willing to accept the nomination for vice.
Time out. We can't do that right now.
Why not? I can still
We're
nominate you.
trying to get to the rest of the meeting, Drew.
Well, we are, but it's just a nomination.
Okay,
You don't have to.
Yeah,
You don't
we're
have
not
to
on the
say
time.
yes or no right now. I just
Okay,
wanted to
well, someone
officially-
write that down.
Okay. I mean, we have a couple.
I mean, if V accepts though and then wins that nomination,
Requesting that we move on to reports.
Oh, another.
Fair enough.
Report,
Let's
report. You know what? I'm going ham. All right, guys.
we have reports. Who's got a report? I mean, obviously, platform has something going on, right? Dustin, you're here for that, for the library thing.
Yeah, so I sent links in the chat.
Okay.
This was a while ago. Okay, I need
Can
to
you send it again?
Is that fightforthefirst.org?
So every library is the organization we talked to about possibly partnering with. And then Fight for the First is what they basically told me to look at, because that would be the primary way they would want to collaborate with us. And then, so I just sent both those links. So here's the deal with this organization. So basically, this organization fights book bans and supports local libraries, is what they more or less do. They also help people run for local library elections in certain cases. Like if you're in an area that's fighting against book bans, or if you are like aligned with them more or less on like keeping information free, is their stated purpose, more or less, and like the purpose for the nonprofit. The nonprofit I'm talking about is the Every Library nonprofit. So we talked to their political director, basically. Basically, he lives here in DC, so found him, talked to him. Me and V met with him, and then he also wanted to have like regular meetings once or from here on to like talk through stuff like that. So, but the primary way they wanted to collaborate was basically through the Fight for the First organization or platform, I guess, and they're related to them. So they would also be doing like local events, but they would be wanting us to like help with petitioning for like preventing book bans, basically. And what they were saying was if we use that as a group, then they would basically be doing data sharing for that, and that was their like incentive. But then that raises ethical issues potentially in the way they're doing it. If they're not explicitly asking, like, do you want to share with this organization and this organization? Like, if they explicitly ask and it's an empty check mark, then this was at least the conversation we had, then that's more or less morally acceptable because that's just explicitly asking for contact permission. But that I looked into exactly how the sign of the form is working, and that is not the case. So it just says basically sign up for Fight for the First, and then basically if we were to collaborate on that, it's by default checked. And my guess from the way he was saying it was that if people just signed the petition, then it automatically would go to us if we collaborated with them as a group. So there would be multiple potential points in terms of collaboration with them. One is you need to determine whether it's ethical to do these petitions with them because of the data sharing issue. And then second, even if the way they are doing it is not ethical, would it be possible for us to do it in an ethical way by wrapping it with information warning people about what's happening when they fill it out? So that could be an alternate way of addressing it. So like you just tell people explicitly what's happening when we are presenting it to them.
Hey, Dustin.
Yeah.
Quick question. Did it feel like they were open? I mean, I don't know if this is something that you got a read on at all, but did it feel like they were open at all to the possibility of changing the way they collect that info?
Yeah. I mean, when we first talked to them, I didn't even think of that possibility. It was like after we talked to them that I actually was looking into stuff. And
okay. Yeah. I think that it would be interesting to raise that in future conversations.
Yeah. For sure.
I think it's prudent, to do that homework on any organization that is somebody that we're potentially going to work with, and then make sure that we're all cool with that. Sounds like you started down that path. Is there something you're looking for from us right now, other than making us aware that we're, talking about it and sharing these things for us to each do our own homework on?
Right. So, like you said, doing your own homework to get an opinion on it, and then also determining for each person whether PNC as a whole wants to actually say, hey, we're collaborating with them in some capacity. And then do you want to continue the meetings indefinitely, more or less, to work with them and collaborate with them on getting people elected? And then there was also a stipulation from them that if we put a book ban specific or anti-book ban specific policy plank, that they would potentially send people related to that way, our way, because they don't have a party to send people to right now that are aligned with that. But we have not finished the anti-book ban, so that would be something coming to PNC later.
Yari, you another question?
Yeah, not a question so much as kind of a question. I guess, does this feel like a collaboration that is currently a specific group within a group of the volunteers that is meeting with them regularly, or does this feel like a platform thing, or does this feel like something you want the help of this team, the whole is how big is the scale of this project is I guess what I'm asking, because I think there's a version of this. I guess what I'm hearing is there's a version of this where the PNC signs off on this, and in signing off on this, is also actively participating in it in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. Unless there's active participation from the volunteers of public posting. I guess what I'm saying is unless there's the need for sorry, words are failing me. What I'm basically trying to say is more things can be done without the PNC generally than are usually done without the PNC. And I'm 100% down for collaboration with this group to happen mostly without the PNC signing off on it, because I don't think that needs to happen. But if it's something that the whole party is like making a collaboration out of, you know, if you're like, hey, I need everyone here to help with this and make this happen, and I want you all to be in on this, if like that's what you're asking for, then like that sounds interesting and I want to learn more and before I agree to it, but I'm interested, and then we can, and then that would, I would agree, be something that we should all decide on.
Yeah. So, wait, am I okay?
You're on. Yep.
Yeah. So, this is like a national level organization. So, that I guess the level they operate at is generally at the national scale. So, it's just kind of like it makes sense for a national level organization to collaborate with a national level organization, if that makes sense. Yeah. Well, what they wanted to collaborate on more or less was like random local level events across the country, from my understanding. So that is like broadly across everywhere. So yeah, it kind of just inherently is resting at the national level rather than like a few people doing it. If that makes sense.
Yes, and V, I will come to you in a moment. So I think the bottom line with this, Dustin, is we are aware, we are interested in this topic. Obviously, I don't think there's anybody that thinks we shouldn't be anti-book bans, but I think what we need from you or from the group that was meeting with everybody is, if you need something from the PNC, we need you to figure out what that is, and so that we can take action other than asking for, you know, volunteers to meet with you and, you know, move it through, I guess. And I'm not necessarily asking for that right now, because I think we all want to do our homework on this, and thank you for bringing it to us. So I think, you know, sort of the thing is one of our next meetings would be to bring it back up and see what do you need as sort of one of the liaisons to this group, from us to commit to or whatever. So and that, like I said, I'm not asking for that right now. So but that would be the thing for the next time that this topic is on the table. So, V, go ahead.
I think so Dustin and I were at this meeting, and I think that there are lots of potential ways that the PNC, you know, like how we have our committees, and how the national party can help with, you know, and I guess that what really is what we're trying to do, or what we are initially trying to do, is, you know, how does the party go forward in, you know, 2023? We have like a few months left in this year, but the 2023-2024 area of doing more things locally. So one of the projects that when I sent the report to the PNC, that we met with every library, is combating at the local level, at local libraries, where they're doing this, you know, this hour of reading books that are inclusive and just represent who we are as a party. So the initial ask that Dustin is doing, and what we're doing today, is that, you know, should we continue looking for more ways to help this organization? You know, it doesn't have to go through, you know, Fight for the First .org and the data sharing, but I guess that's more of like a feeler type of question, like not something that needs to be voted on, just kind of like lightly, like, should this be a initiative that the party is doing nationally? instead of saying something like, okay, we'll take it down to the Virginia or West Virginia, or because they're a national organization.
Yari.
My gut feeling is yes. Just to put that out there. And in fact, I was going to say, down the road, I don't think this is a right now thing. I don't think this is an immediate thing, like even in the next few weeks or whatever. But I think down the road, like in a month plus 2 months, somewhere within this year, maybe, or early next year, it would be really cool to see, us have some sort of meeting where we get to chat with a member or a representative from the organization, just to get a better feel of how we can how our organizations can help each other. But yeah, no, I think it sounds like a potentially very interesting collaboration, something that could be something that could affect a lot of change.
And I will say this too: if you're not already involved at all with your local library, you should at least go and check the place out and learn. I work a lot with my local library, so and I'm actually going to be teaching a class, digital literacy for mature adults class, because I've been handling a lot of people. Yeah. Thanks to ChatGPT for helping me develop a copyright-free course, because I'm not the best writer in the world. You look like you have something to say about that, Yari.
I do. It's outside the scope of this meeting.
Okay.
But I would just like that sentence was fraught with things.
Oh, well, yeah.
I would just like to flag before we... Okay, there's a motion to adjourn in chat and a second. But that sentence was fraught. Let's move on.
Okay. But I'm giving it away. I'm not, so it's a public service for me. So
no, I'm glad you're teaching.
Yeah. So
there aren't any other reports. I mean, I know.
Is there any? Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Before
there is a motion and a second, and technically we have to vote on that. We should just vote on that, and if it gets voted down, then we can continue, or we can chat afterwards.
I'll say this: reports can be submitted directly to our lovely scribe, or our lovely scribe. And Michael, if there's too many of them, you can send them to me, and I can put them in the thing.
Thank you.
And then we can just put them online. Ta-da! So there's a solution. If you have other things that you have for a report, what's a report?
What's a report? Yeah,
that's
it doesn't have to be.
I don't know the answer to it.
I've never written one in my life.
You've never written a report in your life? I have many receipts that show otherwise.
A report is something that someone can do to report about someone.
Yeah, we are. So yeah,
call the question.
Yeah, we are voting. Pennsylvania. Aye. Oh, California is aye. Johnny.
Aye.
Aye. Mitch is no longer here. Eric.
Aye.
Joe, you seconded it. Yep. Okay. That's it. We're out. We're good.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Give us that outro.
Bye.
And vote pirate. How about that? Vote pirate. I want you.